Please give these guys a wonderful round of applause as I announce them all at once to the stage. Please give it up for Rob Paulsen, Arisa Marsh, Barry Gordon, Townsend Coleman, Cam Clark, and Sean Schmel. Yeah, they told me backstage, they're like, just announce them all.
It's Rob Paulsen and some other people.
That's right. We are the U.S.
Exactly what it says in my contract. Will be billed as Rob Paulsen and some other people.
I want to apologize to Sean because I definitely messed up your last name. I think it was like and so
That's the Hebrew spelling.
That's the Hebrew spelling. Okay.
It's kind of Yiddish, although I'm not. It's a long story.
I'm rocking the Amish beard, so I think that's kind of where that's coming from right now. It's almost like a Yiddish the way they speak. But anyways, that's important. Why don't you guys, if you guys would, for those that may not know you just based off of your names, but just some of your favorite characters you voiced over time to give them a little inclination as to who you are. Starting at the front.
Alphabetical order of the colors we're wearing? Or
yes, yeah, exactly.
That means I'm first, last, and in between.
Okay.
Going from this end?
Go from you.
Hello, Tampa Bay. This is Yakko here. Thank you. And also, my friend the Brain is here with me, Pinky Narv. And you are seeing before you a representation of 50% of the Ninja Turtles and one middle-aged white guy. I was Raphael when you guys were, well, when you were not even born. And now I'm Donatello, and I'm Carl Weezer and Jimmy So, but my favorite thing to be is a friend of Cam Clark. How's that for a segue? Go ahead, segue, Cammy.
First of all, I love that you guys are bowing down unto us.
Yes.
There we go. That's what I was waiting
Nothing
for.
like seeing a gold miner genuflecting. Yeah.
It's a start, Pinky. Yes.
Yes, it is, Brain.
I am Cam Clark, as perhaps you've heard. Leonardo of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We've got to think of something fast. And Freddy the Ferret from Barnyard. And Deflate a Mouse from Tick. And Kaneda from... What? What? Oh, Akira. Take the wall! And we'll leave it at that. When He-Man and Prince Adam, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power!
You should see people when they're walking by Cam's hotel room and they hear that and coming out of it.
I stand in the window on the 23rd floor with just my big boy underpants.
Yeah.
So that was you.
But speaking of swords, I know we're just introducing, but speaking of swords, Townie got the greatest picture. You know you're at a Comic Con when you go into the stall of the men's room and someone has forgot and left their sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the stall.
In the stall.
In the toilet for you to sit on or something. Sorry.
Go ahead, Brain. Tell them who you are.
My name is Maurice and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Marie. Everybody.
I'm Arisa Marsh, and you might know me as the voice of the Brain from Pinky and the Brain. My dear cohort here. I'm also show up frequently on the show Futurama, which is on.
By the way,
I am Morbo, the newscaster.
let me just interject. Let me just interject. He's being way too sort of self-effacing. Maurice won back-to-back primetime Emmys for his work on Futurama.
This from my Emmy-winning friend, Pinky, from
Yes.
Pinky and the Brain.
Except-
in 1998.
You have enough to make earrings out of it.
Of course, I've won.
The hearts of millions.
Mr. Diplomacy. And currently I'm Grumpy on the 7D for the little ones. And also Chief Charlie Burns on Transformers Rescue Bots. And you hear me every day on your car radios and on your TVs during the Olympics as the voice of Lexus, the 2016 Lexus GS. See you next week.
I just want to hear you say it's a December to remember sales event.
No, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. It really is. Right now. See your Lexus dealer. Ladies and gentlemen, the former president of the Screen Actors Guild and the man who got his SAG card before I was even born, Mr. Barry Gordon!
Well, hi. I'm Barry Gordon, the man of many voice. The luckiest voice actor in history. I basically just do my voice and I get hired. So I have no complaints. But I'm Donatello, which is my voice. And I'm also, I'm also Bebop, which is a little different than my voice. But I like being Bebop. And the Nestle Quick Bunny. You can't drink it slow if it's quick. Kind of a bad Edith Bunker, actually. And let's see, and the other stuff is like way before your time.
Bitch, I watched it.
Huh? Gravedale High. And
We were just talking about that.
I don't even remember what voice I did for Gravedale High. I was a werewolf, Reggie Moonshroud, and I howled a lot, as I recall. You know. It was just your. So, woo! You know, one of those. And Junior Wentworth from Snorks, if anybody remembers that. Going way back, Jabberjaw. Frank was Jabberjaw, yeah. I was Clyde. So that was fun. Inky and Pac-Man. So I've had a fun career. Nothing like these guys. These guys you are watching geniuses up here, and it is such an honor for me to be working with them and being with them at the cons and having had the joy of being with them in the studio. So
Barry, what was your big hit song?
all except for Townsend. No.
Yeah, Barry. What was your
my hit song? Yeah. Shall we lead a little in the hit song?
Yeah.
Okay. You probably won't know this because I was 6 when I did it.
6 when he recorded.
All right. I'm getting nothing for Christmas. Mommy and Daddy are mad. I'm getting nothing for Christmas 'cause I ain't been nothing but bad. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, there's no way of topping that.
But I am mighty! Smooth!
So I did a little blue character called the Tick on the Tick with Robbie Paulsen as Arthur.
Not in the face, not in the face!
Cam Clark as Deflator Mouse.
I'll save you. No. I'll save you. No. I'll save you.
Maurice LaMarche as the Midnight Bomber. What bombs at midnight, baby?
Oh yeah, baby, yeah. Wrong is right, up is down, yeah! And cowabunga!
Whoa, dude. Yeah, Michelangelo and the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And also, you remember the little red 7-Up dot?
I remember that. I do. Go to kill that dot. No, I'm kidding. It's great, actually. No, I really do like it.
And it was Gobo on Fraggle Rock, going and looking for my uncle, traveling that out in outer
I remember that too. I watched that too.
Yeah, we go eat radishes and doozer sticks, and Rob was on that too, and Rob was Boober.
If you guys have not watched the original Fraggle Rock, you're missing out, because that is the bomb.
I was Boober. Yeah. I'm an alcoholic. Well, I will be by the end of the day.
And Marjorie the trash heap.
Yes, I was Marjorie the trash heap. It sounded like Maria Spinskaya as a trash heap. Thank God I took so many. Never mind.
I don't know if you saw Transformers Animated, I was Sentinel Prime, a bit of a jerk. But I approve this message. All right. You don't need to know it.
Hey, Tony, you and I were also on a really, I thought, pretty awful show called Space Cats. It was dreadful, but we had a great time.
Yeah, Robbie and I with Pat Trey, we were the three Space Cats. Yeah, I was Scratch. Pat was Sniff, and you were Tom.
I was Litterbox or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was additional voice.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Salt.
You guys are too nice. I have no business being here. So I've spent a couple of cons with these guys, and I think something you guys don't realize, I often get asked, how do I get into voice acting? How do I get into voice acting? This is a large part. I'm not kidding. I'm not blowing sunshine, because if you guys get to know me, I don't give compliments when they're not deserved. I don't, because it just hurts hard. But for me, started off when I was a kid and Rich Little and Bill Cosby and stuff like that. But when I was in college and high school, I was copying these guys. I was going every day after college, going to watch Ninja Turtles, watching Pinky and the Brain, copying the voices, trying to do impressions all the time. 10 years before I was a voice actor. So any work I do is massively influenced by all these guys. I'm not kidding. And this is not sunshine I'm blowing up your asses. This is the honest truth. I have no business being up here. So if you guys,
meantime, who has the biggest line? Who has the voice of Goku?
You guys are nice. I'm blown away. I'm beside myself that I'm sitting here, because I'm literally playing Ninja Turtles episodes in my head from college, and eating pizza and going, really radical dude, and trying to do the voices. And here I am sitting with these guys. So when you guys are like, oh, I'd like to work with you someday, I'd like to this, and you say this to me, I'm doing that thing that you're hoping to do, and I'm geeking out. So I'm not even gonna talk about what I do for a living. So you guys are fucking great. Sorry. But you are. Sorry. I'm thrilled to be here on this panel. I'm just gonna shut up and let these guys talk, because they're freaking amazing. I'll never be as good as these guys. Trust me. Trust me. Just when I start thinking I'm good, I hear Maurice bust out another voice, or Paul, any of you guys, and I'm just like, oh shit, I can't do that. Well, that's true. Go back to voice acting school, which doesn't exist. This is the voice acting school right here. Voice acting school sitting right in front of you. All right. Sorry. I had to say it. Sorry.
Fantastic.
That's all the time we have for questions.
Thanks, buddy.
We're going to go ahead and open it up to the audience. Right over here, if you guys could actually take a knee that's behind, once you get up to the microphone, that way we're just not blocking anybody that's over there. That way they can still see, though there are giant video monitors. So right over here, we'll start with Ariel. Go ahead, what is your question?
Nice rack.
Thanks. More just for you.
Hey, you're a goober too.
My room number is...
write this down.
2 o'clock.
First, I just wanted to say I grew up listening to every single one of you on this panel. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can tell.
But I did have a question from Arisa Marsh, a very obscure question. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I totally understand. But back in the 80s, you did an episode of The Facts of Life.
We did?
An episode where all the characters are killing each other off, and you're playing a Rod Serling Twilight Zone, and you love saying the name Tucci.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if you had any memories of that, and even if you didn't, if you could just do the Rod Serling voice and say.
I'll tell you, my favorite memory of that. First of all, I couldn't believe that I was going up on a real, actual, network sitcom, and my memory of it was that when we went down, I was so nervous to do the table read. I was very nervous to do this show. They'd been on the air for about 6 years, and it was Cloris Leachman had taken over the part of the den mother, and I loved her on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. But I also had in my mind, well, this is the facts of life. I mean, how hip is it going to be? I was a stand-up comedian at the time. I was hanging out with some fairly, up-and-coming guys, and the script was so funny. It was had a lot of pop culture references. Cloris had a whole thing where she did a takeoff on Frau Blucher from Young Frankenstein, and I was like, we were laughing our asses off. And I sound like Mark Hamill. We were just laughing. It was fantastic. And I love doing Mark Hamill. But I mean, only because he's got so much enthusiasm for this craft, and I think he's one of the best actors working. But so what struck me was how funny the script was, and then little by little they started taking out the jokes and making it was too edgy. The network notes were going, no, that our audience isn't going to get that reference. And so by the time we went to air, it was about half as funny as it was, and it was one of the more remarkable episodes because it was so surreal. But I just remembered going, God, why'd they lose that joke? Why'd they lose the Frau Blucher thing? That was so hip. And and the other thing I remember was just how nice the entire cast was, including the nicest guy, George Clooney. Clooney was on the show. We played their neighbor, and we hung out a little bit. And at the end of the thing, I did all their answering machines. The people didn't have voicemail, so everybody brought their little thing. Because I was riffing impressions all through the week, and they came down to the Comedy Store to see me. George and Mindy and. I can't remember who else came. Like 3 or 4 of the girls came down, so I did all their answering machines at the end of the week, including George's. So that was it was a really fun week. It was great.
So when you say did their answering machines, what exactly is that?
I did. I took the answering machine into a special room, and I did outgoing greetings. Someone had Robin Williams. Oh, fantastic. George isn't here right now, so leave a message. Oh, no. I just did whatever they wanted. It was great.
It's great. I love that.
Can you do the Rod Serling voice and say Tootie?
Tootie. I just love saying Tootie. It's a magic milkshake of your mind. That's great. A lot of fun. Right over here.
Is there a comic book character or any character that you guys still want to voice that you haven't voiced yet?
Little Annie Fanny from
Little Annie Fanny. I remember it.
Thank goodness you did.
Oh, I remember it well.
I don't know if there's a specific comic book character. I mean, the truth is, I just love working. I just love to work. We're so grateful to, in virtually all our cases, to have been working more than half of our lives doing something for which we would have done for free. It's really where we play. I mean, there have been so many great Superman, Batman, Kevin Conroy's Batman. Who wants to? In fact, interestingly, my son, who is probably the mean age of most people, he's almost 32, but. He loves the Batman franchise and all that, but for him, Batman is Kevin and the Joker is Mark. That's it. I mean, he loves all of the stuff with, Christian Bale and all, but when it comes to the real Batman, that's what they think. So many, I mean, I wouldn't, Mo, were you a Joker too, Mo?
No, I came very close on the Joker for The Batman in 2000, I think it was 2003, where it was kind of like, Batman's first year, Rino Romano played it. And they said, specifically, they wanted to, do something very different from what Mark had done, which I thought, why?
Yeah.
Because Mark's Joker is the template, the best. And he's played the Joker more than any other actor.
20 years,
Everybody's, when you think of how many episodes he's played the Joker in, he's out there in the culture as the Joker, and everybody else is just taking a shot at it, So what I did was I found like a Hannibal Lecter with a sense of humor. So it was very close to what Ledger ended up doing. Oh no, I got these scars. Yeah. My father was a drinker. I love that take on it too, but I do that to my trainer. When I'm at the gym, I know it doesn't look like it, but I actually do physically train. And whenever I'm like, I'll come off like a machine and just grab him by the back and I go, "Why not I got these scars?" It scares the crap out of him. And he's like a 17th degree black belt, and I paralyze him. He practically pees himself whenever I grab hold of him. I only do it like twice a year, but he's so terrified. But but I never actually landed the Joker. And you know what? To me, just if you haven't gotten The Killing Joke, if you haven't downloaded it or bought it, they have got to melt down an Emmy and an Oscar and make it into one super award for Mark Hamill's performance in this.
Yeah.
He actually makes you care about, understand, and feel sorry for the Joker after he's crippled a major character. Like after he's actually crippled a major character and you still sort of go, "Oh, I get why he's like that." Your heart goes out to the Joker. That's a major acting job to me. Hamill is genius in that.
When I think about characters that I like to play that I haven't, I usually think, does it pay?
I have shows that I wish I got, I don't know, 2 or 3 callbacks for Philip J. Fry on Futurama. And
you'd have made a wonderful Fry.
Thank you, but you know what? The truth is, when I saw it on the air, and Billy and I are, all of us are very close to Billy West and those folks, and they made the right choice. I got really close, and I really would have liked to have done that, but Billy was, they were correct, and in a sort of fullness of time, you look back and objectively say, yeah, they made the right choice. The choices Billy made were better than mine. So, you know, it's always nice to just to work and get a gig.
Yeah, well, you know, I was cast as Haji.
Oh boy, here we go.
In what is it?
Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest.
I love that voice.
And I got really close to it, meaning I booked it, and they replaced me with Rob Paulsen, and I still think they made the wrong choice. I love that voice.
Sim Stala freaking bin.
I was flown up to Marin County.
We both were.
That's right. We were both up for Howard the Duck.
Yes, we both were. Yeah.
One of those gigs that you're thankful you didn't get.
Thank God. And I remember we went up there. Gloria Katz and Willard Katz were running the ADR session to audition voice guys for Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
And I remember being at
Skywalker Sound up and
looking at the screen, thinking to myself, well, it looks like a guy in a duck suit. What is the big deal? You guys are making this is secretive, and you're bringing all these people up. It was silly, and no shit, it tanked.
I think Rob just said something really important, which is, because my answer is no. There's really nothing that I've seen other people do that I would want to voice because I love what other people do. So I think that's what's important. Usually the casting people get it right.
They really do.
They really do. And I mean, with Turtles, when we started the audition process, we all read for everything, as I recall, right? We all read for all 4 Turtles. But, you know, then they looked at it and they said, well, yeah, you're Donatello, and, you know, and you're, of course, you and, what is it, you and Cam? You and Cam had a little battle for Michelangelo and Leonardo. They could have been neck and neck there.
Well, when they first cast us, they knew that Rob was going to be Raphael, Barry was going to be Donatello. Yeah. But with Cam and I, they didn't know whether who was going to be Michelangelo or Leonardo. And so it was at the first recording session that we did our first read-through, and Stu Rosen, the voice director, dialogue director, said, Tony, you go ahead and do Michelangelo first pass, and then we'll switch, have Cam do it on the second pass, and after that first pass, they just never changed it.
Yeah.
And I ended up with Michelangelo. I mean, it was really just sort of a roll of the dice. And I think Cam was so thankful for that and glad to...
Are you kidding me? I played the boring turtle.
I know how that feels. I play the boring Saiyan. You guys don't know what Saiyans are, but they do. I know exactly how that feels, Cam.
We've got to do something.
We have, is that a line there?
Yeah. We're gonna keep going. We're getting down to 12 minutes left in this, so we want to keep. We want to try and get through as many questions as we can for these guys.
Okay.
So let's go right over here.
Hi everyone. By the way, big fan. I love all of you guys, but I do just want to say specifically, Mr. Paulsen, I want to thank you for doing your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Us too. Yes. Wonderful.
I've had a lot of fun listening to it after a lot of work days, so thank you for that. I'm not going to play the favorites question game, but is there a specific character that you play that holds a special place in your heart, maybe for sentimental reasons, or one that you hold a little dear to your heart?
Go ahead, Sean.
For me, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because Goku would be it only because that character, I mean, I've done dozens of characters since then, and I've been lucky enough to do some more prelay work since I've moved to LA, but Goku is special because it was my first audition. And so before that I was, I'm gonna direct my attention over here because Mr. Kid who has a French horn thing you wouldn't understand, I do understand, and I've got my mouthpiece with me, but I was a professional horn player, and then I had my friends bug me to audition for this show because they thought I did great voices, and so Goku is this separate little thing that's separate from all my other work because of, it led to everything else, and so that's my special slot in my voice acting world. You guys? Special characters?
Oh gosh, well thank you very much for your kind words about the podcast. All of these people have been on it too, so thank you. It's really difficult to say. I love Pinky. I love the Turtles. I have been a lottery winner, so it's pretty difficult for me to specify, but if you ask me what my favorite job is, I would have to say the next one. Because that means I'm working, but thank you for asking.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Let's take a couple more
questions. Yeah, let's...
I just want to say, I have a lot of favorite characters too. They're all my kids, but about this upcoming election. I know that many of you feel it's a choice that's of the lesser of two evils. I don't think you're wasting your vote if you do a write-in candidate. Yes. This is my answer to Trump. I just want to...
Awesome, right over here.
Put the right mouse in the White House.
Yeah. And I have to say Donatello. I mean, because I lived with Donatello for longer than I lived with, most of my shows are 13 episodes and then they're gone. And so to live with Donatello for 10 years and work with these guys every week was just such a joy, and so that will always be what's closest to my heart.
Awesome.
Yes. My question is for Rob Paulsen specifically. I've heard that you can still do Yakko's World, like just off the topic. Can you do that for us now?
Yeah!
Let's go.
I'll tell you what, we still have time, right?
We have 9 minutes.
Okay, then you know what?
That's all we need.
Then you know what? I will be happy to do that. Let's get a couple more questions in, and then I'll do that when we're done with it.
Yeah, you want to end with that? We'll end with that at the...
That's fine, I just want to give a few...
Yeah, of course, right over here.
Thank you.
Hi, this is a question for at least half of you, because I know that.
Top half and the bottom half.
The talented half?
Well, those who can sing. Is it hard to sing in character?
I think it can be. I mean, you do your little voices and you're, singing as incorrectly as possible. Anything you would learn in vocal lessons or something like that. You're singing in little voices. It's like if you've seen the show Avenue Q, where they do one of my favorite shows. But they're up there, not only are they holding puppets, but they are singing big Broadway songs in this voice. So it can be very difficult.
I find I can only sing in character. I can't sing in my own voice. I go flat in my own voice. But that said, I had to sing the song The Flame as Yosemite Sam on the Mutant show. That might have been been the most challenging piece of singing I've ever
You
done.
sing Brainstem.
Brainstem is easy though, and I'm not going to sing it now, Rob. You get the list song at the end. Neurocampus.
Brainstem!
Thank you. No, it's hippocampus neural node. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Right over here on the right side. Or my right, your left.
Gods, I just actually got nervous. For one thing, is it possible for you guys to do an ad-lib with your major characters?
Is it possible?
Possible?
It's possible.
Would you
Will it
mind
be
if-
funny? Will we do it right now? No. We don't have time.
Unfortunately, we don't. They do have. They are doing autographs and stuff. You can go over to their booths and stuff and get
But they're
autographs
only
and take
6
pictures.
booths. We should have them in one panel right now.
Yes, but we're running out of time. That happened. That means we're moving on. Right over here.
In the 2009 movie Turtles Forever, I realized Sean played in the 2009 movie Turtles Forever.
Yes.
I realized Sean played the '84 version of Raphael.
I played Mirage Raphael, where they go back in time.
Yes.
I don't remember how I did that voice, but yeah. What were your questions? Sorry.
I was curious. I mean, I was a little disappointed to not hear the rest of your voices on that. I was wondering, why did 4Kids Entertainment not?
Oh, I can explain that a little bit. I don't work for 4Kids Corporate, and I didn't at the time, but that, by that time there was a new cast of Ninja Turtles that had gone from 2003 to like 2010, and I worked on that as like guest bad guy every week. And then I was Shokunabo and Constable Biggles and stuff like at the very end regularly. So I was doing the whole talking like this, and then talking that what's all they saying, like doing the whole British thing. They're trying to do a John Cleese thing, but when they did the movies, they wanted to use for back in time. I don't know that 4Kids could have legally. The problem was 4Kids is a non-union shop, and I was non-union at the time. And if they wanted to get this cast, it would have been a very complicated. So I'm guessing that it had to do with they had the Ninja Turtles that they were using from the 2003 2010. When they go back in time, getting these guys could have been financially and legally difficult, is my guess. And 4Kids was not in a position, I don't think, to go, hey, let's just go get these guys to do that. I don't even know if they played a Raphael reference for me, because I think I was referencing something else, but I was just doing like a real deep kind of thing. I don't remember what it was, but it was like a Raphael.
Do you fear us? Yeah, do you fear us? Yeah.
Like, I don't know, something crazy like that. But I don't, that's probably the reason, is my guess.
Excellent. I really appreciate that. I was just curious a little bit because, I love all you guys, and the episode Transdimensional Turtles in the new show.
Isn't that cool?
It's my favorite episode.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Stay tuned. There may be a couple of more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Don't you love the part in the Transdimensional Turtles where the new Donatello is talking to the old Raphael?
It was beautiful.
With no chemical inducement. Incredible.
Let's hear from the 49er.
Yes, this will have to be our last question, unfortunately, guys, because we are running low here on a very big time constraint. So I apologize for anybody, but once again, they do have wonderful booths upstairs. Please visit them, get pictures, autographs, and you can ask those questions you were wanting to ask. I do apologize, but we are running really strict on time. So right here, please.
Okay, this is going to be an inside baseball kind of question. Okay, if you look at the cast list for most animated shows over the last 20 years, the names of the cast look really familiar. It's pretty much the same names and the same casting directors. So it must be kind of hard to break into the industry. So for those folks that I know who are trying to do this, would you recommend that they either move to Vancouver or LA rather than try to stay back here and record podcasts and that kind of stuff?
What kind of improv did you want to hear? He's caught on to our secret. Robbo, you want to take that one?
The answer to your second part of your question is sure. You can do with the advent of social media and YouTube, you can do stuff for free that millions of people will ultimately possibly hear. So you can do podcasts all day long and create animation with different programs and new versions of Flash and all that stuff. But if you want to do what we do to work for the major studios, by and large, so far, you still have to be in LA unless you have dual citizenship, and you can go to Toronto or Vancouver. But if you want to work for Disney or Warner Brothers or Nickelodeon or Universal or Cartoon Network, you have to be in LA and get an agent and do all that stuff. And Lois from Toronto. I'm from Michigan. You know, Cammy's was, you were born out in Utah, but you were born out there. And so by and large.
Not born in Utah.
Oh, you were from LA? Oh, yeah, right. From LA. Sorry. Well, sorry.
From LA, babe.
And Tony's from Ohio, you know. So it's, yeah, I think that by and large you still have to be there if you want to work for the major studios. And as far as breaking into it, I think everybody, not virtually, everybody here has a live performance background, and that has been integral, at least in my success, being able to do theater, music, all of that, stand-up comedy, improv. I don't know anybody, with very few exceptions. The only two I can think of, Corey Burton and Nancy Cartwright, are the only two people whom I know personally who said, I want to be a voice actor when they were kids. Everybody else, all of us, Welker, Tress McNeil, you name it, all are live performers who became accomplished actors before they did voice work.
So I would just add that, you know, you mentioned Toronto and Vancouver, and that's a fine way to go if you want to, you know, break into it and ease in slowly.
Yeah.
But you know, and we all had our times where the door was closed to us. You know, nobody's going to move to Los Angeles and go right into it, except Eric Bauza. But other than Eric Bauza, you know, I mean, I was told by your agency in 1980, don't even bother. Don't even bother to try. You know, my very first interview with them, but they wanted me to, you know, they took me on for on-camera commercial, but they would not let me anywhere near the voiceover department in 1980. It took me 5 years till I got my first animation job. I mean, it's just a long, slow slog.
Inspector Gadget, baby.
Yeah, Inspector Gadget with Townsend Coleman. Both of us, our first animation job, first regular series. I'd done a couple of guest things. So it's never going to be easy. There's no roadmap to it. That's, you know, if there was, I would make a fortune selling you the roadmap more than I make doing voiceovers.
Real quick, we gotta get ending. Unfortunately, can we get the Yakko song? And then let's hit out.
Thank you for your question.
I do apologize to cut you off on that one.
But those are if you want to work in United States or Canada.
Yes.
United States, Canada. Those
Mexico.
United States, Canada.
Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam, Norway, and Sweden, and Iceland, and Finland, and Germany, now and Greece, Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey, and Greece, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq, and Iran, there's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, Bhutan, Kuwait, and Bahrain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, France, and Denmark, and Spain, India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Kampuchea, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, and Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Libya, Syria, Ghana. But wait, there's more. Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Nigeria, China, Liberia, Egypt, Nigeria, Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Mali, and Cameroon, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Yugoslavia, Korea, Mauritania, Monaco, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.